We are now here with the number 10 in the UFC welterweight division, the Haitian sensation, Neil Magny. Hello, sir. I'm a huge fan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
How are you today? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great. The weight cut's going well. The flight into Las Vegas wasn't bad at all, so I'm feeling great right now.
Oh, that's good. So will it be safe to expect the best shape of you this weekend?
Oh, 100%. That's definitely what I'm going for.
Nice. You are such a legend in the sport, currently tied with George St. Pierre for the most wins in the UFC welterweight history. How does it feel?
It feels great. I mean, it's definitely cool to see the consistency playing off. I mean, I've been with the UFC company for the last 10 years now, and to be mentioned in conversations with the guys like George St. Pierre and Matt Hughes is definitely an honor. It just shows them doing the right thing over the years, and that hard work is definitely starting to pay off.
I actually wanted to ask you a question about that. You just mentioned that you've been fighting in the UFC for 10 years now, and I noticed that you've been fighting professionally for over 12 years. Did the fight game change in any way during the last decade?
It changed a lot. I mean, the biggest thing I realized with the way the fight game has changed is how do you go about getting matchups and that kind of thing. I mean, the fight game is evolving in the sense that not only do you have to be a great fighter, you have to train wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, all these different disciplines. You also have to train the other aspects that are outside the cage, as far as like the marketing and the social media and that kind of stuff. So over the last 12 years of being a professional mixed martial arts fighter, I've definitely seen things change a lot.
How do you keep up with all the changes? Do you I mean, you have to stay focused on training the most, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the training to me is the most important factor. I mean, there's been definitely plenty of fighters who were able to fake the funk, quote unquote. Guys rise to the top very quickly and they phase out just as quickly. So for me, the hard work and consistency in the training remains number one. Everything else is secondary. You can polish a turd as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it's still a turd. So I tend to focus on like the things that I can go out there and perform the best of my abilities based off the work that I put in. And if it gets the result that I wanted to trade for, great. If not, great. But I can only do what's within my reach, within my control.
Wow, that sounds like a hell of a work ethic. I respect that, sir. That's amazing. So let's talk about your next fight this weekend. How is your preparation going? Could you elaborate with your training, please, if that's possible?
Oh yeah, training went great. I mean, we had some very good training partners, especially for this training camp. We spent a lot of time studying film and that kind of thing to break down the best way to beat my opponent. So I feel very well prepared to go into this fight, and I feel like I'm gonna have an amazing performance because of that.
And your opponent, Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's a former M1 welterweight champion who has no losses in his career, and he literally finished every single one of his opponents. What do you think of him as a fighter?
He was a great fighter. Can't deny that. I mean, he's undefeated. Like you said, he has 100% finish rate. But at the end of the day, we're all undefeated at some point or another. So at this point, do I necessarily look past him? Not at all. But I know that I've been in there with some of the best guys in the world. I know I am one of the best guys in the world. So there's no doubt in my mind I'll be able to go out there and be the guy to give him his first loss.
Oh, I love the confidence, sir. It sounds very exciting. Any predictions as to how the fight will turn out?
It's gonna be an amazing fight from beginning to end. I'm gonna be out there pushing the pace, putting it on him. If he decides to make it to 15 rounds or 15 minutes is entirely up to him. But I'm ready to go out there and put on an amazing performance.
Wow, you are certainly very good at hyping this fight. Very excited. Now, I have a couple of questions about your life outside the octagon, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So it is my understanding that you used to be an Army veteran and were deployed in Kuwait.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
was in the
correct?
Army for, yeah, that's very correct. I was in the Army for 7 years. Did one
Wow.
tour for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I actually left the Army in 2012, 2013, right around the time I got signed to the UFC in order to pursue my UFC career.
Well, I'm going to assume that those experiences must have helped you grow stronger both mentally and physically. How does that experience affect you as a fighter?
At the end of the day, the things that I've endured throughout life, whether it's through military, law enforcement, whatever else may be, there's nothing in the octagon that can like quote unquote scare me. I've literally it all. I survived it all. The last thing I need to be worried about is what another man can do to me. I know I can endure a lot. I know I've been through a lot. So I don't think twice about going in there and fighting the most feared guys in the world. I fight and encounter tomorrow if it was offered to me. There's literally no fear in
Wow.
me when it comes to facing competition.
Oh, no wonder you're so confident. That sounds amazing. So you've earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And
Yeah.
you might find this interesting, but I used to be a lawyer before I became involved in mixed martial arts. So I
Oh,
think I
nice.
kind of understand how you feel. But let's hear it from you. What made you pursue MMA as a career instead of criminal justice?
So it was going hand in hand. I started training mixed martial arts my senior year of high school, and it was something that I was passionate about, something I enjoyed doing. But the biggest question is, can I make a living at doing it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
whether or not I stayed in law enforcement and went down that path, I would have always been passionate about martial arts and mixed martial arts. I've been constantly pursuing it. 23, 24. When I was like, all right, I've been fighting on the regional circuit for a bit. I feel like I'm ready to take my career to the next level. And the opportunity presented itself to fight for the UFC. And I was like, I'm going to take it. Like at the end of the day, if I have a great UFC career and retire at 40, become a 40-year-old rookie, I'm okay with that. But the one thing I don't want to do is play it safe and live out the next 10 years and then sit back and wonder what my career could have been had I pursued it. So for me, it was pretty much dumping all my eggs in a basket at the time and
Wow.
attacking this thing head on.
Thank God you took that risk. As a fan, we get to witness those amazing fights.
For
Um,
sure. Thank you.
so you have had some memorable fights in your career, and as a Korean mixed martial arts fan, your fight with Hyun-Gyu Lim was particularly memorable for me personally. Which fight is the most memorable one for you?
Those are all great fights. I mean, for me, the biggest fights was getting ready, fighting the guys who I once looked up to in the sport, like the fights against Carlos Condit, the fight against Johnny Hendricks and Hector Lombard. Those are all guys who, at some point or another in my career, I kind of looked up to them like, man, these guys are great fighters. They're killing it. So to finally get the opportunity to go out there and face those guys and beat them, for me, it was just definitely like the shifting point or the changing point or cherry on top of my career thus far, being able to fight against those guys.
Wow, and this next fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov will be another amazing fight, no doubt.
Oh, 100%. I can't wait to go out there and perform for you guys. This is definitely going to be one of my best performances today.
Wow. All right. So finally, any words to the Korean fans who would be watching this fight and rooting for you this weekend?
I appreciate you guys so much for supporting me over the years. Hopefully, we have a live event in Korea again in the future here. But until then, I appreciate you guys watching me and supporting me over the years. I definitely love and appreciate you guys for that.
All right. Neil Magny, everyone. Thank you so much for your
Awesome.
time, sir. Appreciate
No
it.
problem. No problem. Third time to you.